Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going back into one of my Broly series. We're going to be going over part 3 of What If Broly Wasn't a Mutant. If you like this series, give it a like and subscribe if you want, and let's get into it. We last ended off with the confrontation between Broly, Bardock, and Frieza, with the Saiyans having unlocked Super Saiyan. Frieza was worried that he would be beat by the Saiyans even with his full powered form. This would leave Frieza threatening to blow up the planet, knowing the Saiyans couldn't survive in space, but Bardock and Broly would then rush forward to fight him. They would want to destroy Frieza for all that he's done and put an end to his reign once and for all. Frieza would have a lot of work cut out for him in this fight, having to fight two fully engaged Super Saiyans while using his full power, which would cost him a lot of energy. This would give Frieza the advantage in the early fight, but he would quickly realize that Super Saiyan is far more optimized for a longer battle than his current form is. He would quickly try and take the advantage back, but he'd be losing too much energy all at once, and he would have to power down to his previous form, which would put him at a major disadvantage. Bardock and Broly would realize this is their chance to get the win here, and they would put a barrage of attacks on Frieza with their full power put into it. It wouldn't be long before one of these attacks would injure Frieza fatally, and he would curse the Saiyan before they would end his life. Bardock and Broly would power down, knowing that they had accomplished their goal. All three Saiyans would look around at the carnage caused by the Frieza Force, and even Frieza himself lying on the ground, which they would smile at. However, Frieza wouldn't be the only member of his family, and they wouldn't even be that weak. They had waited on Lampa and trained, hoping not to be found, but they definitely knew what would happen this time, so they knew they had to go somewhere, but where would be the question. Vegeta would speak up for the first time since the battle had begun, saying that he even know of a myth of magical orbs. It would say that they are rumored to be Namekian wish orbs which could grant you any wish you want, but they are not confirmed to be true or not. Bardock would say that he had heard of these orbs and even heard more details on several planets he had been to, while Broly would just look at the Saiyans, curious on what they would have been talking about. Once the Saiyans would have laid out a plan, they would have made a course of action to go to Namek to see if these wish orbs were real. They would leave a couple days later after preparing some supplies and begin their journey to Namek. However, they would have narrowly escaped danger, as Cooler, the brother of Frieza, would have arrived on the planet to see what would have happened to his brother. King Ko would have sent him, as he would have been suspicious about where Frieza was, as some of Frieza and his army would have disappeared. Cooler would get his confirmation when he would see Frieza and several other bodies on the ground with the interesting sight of a few Saiyans. Cooler thought that surely he wouldn't have been killed by Saiyans, as they were much stronger than the rest of the army, but Frieza did go on about the Super Saiyan myth all the time, and then he wondered. Cooler realized he didn't have time to think about it, as he had to report back to his father, so he picked up Frieza's remains and put it on his ship as he headed back. Eventually, Cooler would arrive on the planet where King Ko was and would explain to his father what he think would have happened. Neither would believe in the Super Saiyan myth like Frieza does, but with Saiyans on the ground, they couldn't really take it out of the picture. Either way, seeing that Frieza's body was still intact, King Ko would have an idea to bring his son back to life. While Frieza was being repaired, the Saiyans would have finally made their way to Namek and stepped foot on the planet. None of the Saiyans would have seen Namek directly with their eyes, but it would have matched up with the reports they would have heard. Of course, their first goal was to investigate if the wish orbs were real or not. They would go to a couple of settlements and be given cautious looks, but after they would show that they were peaceful, they would be given information to see where they would need to go. Where they would have been guided would be outside of the home of the elder Namekian guru. They would take a look around and would see another Namekian outside, who would introduce himself as Nail and ask if they had any ill intentions. Once he would have asked them a few more questions, he would have brought them inside and let them see the elder. The Saiyans would explain why they are there and that they want to revive their friends, and that once they get their wish, they'll gladly leave the planet. Guru would sense that none of them would be lying, so he would trust them for the time being and order Nail to get the Dragon Balls. It would have been around this time that Cooler and some of the Frieza Force would have stepped onto Namek, hoping to find the Dragon Balls. They would follow the Saiyans' lead and do exactly what they did, but unlike them, they wouldn't have gotten any information. They would even interrupt Nail while he was going around gathering them for the Saiyans, and they would try and take him down and take the ones he had so far. It would be around this time that some Namekian warriors would have arrived and would start to defend Nail, telling him to take them back to Guru so they can protect them. And Nail would rush back, with some of the Frieza Force soldiers following close behind. Nail would eventually arrive back at Guru's place, and the Frieza Force soldiers would try and beat him up, but Bardock and Broly would step in and defend him. Alright, so that'll be it for this part of the series, and as you can tell, next part will have a lot of action, so I'm excited to see where that goes. Thank you for sticking around at this point of the video. If you liked it, all the support is appreciated, and I am out.